So since we're talking about agriculture and stuff, thought I'd come down here, walk down to my garden, and show you guys some things that I do on a very miniature scale that I talk about when we talk about agriculture. So first thing that we'll look at is some of the planting techniques. All right, so right there you can see a traditional garden. I plowed up this little area right here with dirt, or that you can see the dirt on, and I planted 3 rows, and you can maybe tell there's one row there that looks out, another row there, and then the other row. Those are going to be planted. They are planted with okra, so I just planted those seeds just a few days ago, waiting on them to come up. But that's like the traditional way, is to plow it, work up loosen the soil, and put your seed in the ground. Okay, the second way that I've planted are these raised beds. So this first raised bed right here, on this side has, pretty sure that's squash, and on this side is 1 cucumber, but I haven't gotten to planting the other cucumbers. I have some started already in little pallets, but I haven't got those in the ground yet. And you can see right there that I've created this trellis, so the squash and the cucumbers will creep up on and hang on the trellis, so they're not sitting on the soil to rot or worms to get in or stuff like that. The second raised bed has my tomatoes in it. I've got some basil right there in the middle. You might be able to see that. And then I got 6 pepper plants. And you can see this one's a little bit different. I have put mulch in this one. Mulch is going to help with not only weed control, but it's also going to hold moisture in the bed a little bit better, so the sun doesn't dry it out. I still need to do that around here. I'm just waiting until those plants get a little bit larger. So 2 ways I've done it. The traditional way with my okra here, and then the raised bed way that I've done my other vegetables with. Raised beds have a good advantage. They allow the soil to get up to temperature a lot quicker, and they hold moisture better. They're easier to weed and manage. So that's what I've got going on there. Next, we'll come over here and take a look at this mulch pile. So this mulch pile is mulch that I've gathered from my father-in-law on his farm, that lets the city come out and bring their mulch to him that they're not going to use. They just dump their mulch, whatever tree work that they've done, and it just sits there. And on top it's a little bit dried out, but I don't have to dig very deep to get the moisture. Now, it just rained a couple days ago, but this is going to stay moist for a very long time. You can also see how dark it is. It started to break down a little bit, and by breaking down, it's going to return nutrients to the soil anywhere I put it on there. So these wood chips here in this bed will actually become soil for next year when microorganisms break them down. And I'll just continue to do that and build my soil up year after year. So that's one thing that we can use the mulch for. The other one, like I said, is weed control. So the plan is to put the mulch all throughout here. And you can see I've already done it there in between the raised beds. So I won't have to get in here with a lawnmower or something like that. You probably can hear the chickens. Here, got 3 chickens. Let's see if you can see them. Say hey, chickens. So I guess the other one is up in the coop. I have one of them's Fluffy, the other one's Radishes, and another one's Veruca Salt, I think is what my kids have named them. So, oh, there she is. Hey chicken, I don't know which one you are, but let's see how many eggs we got. Oh, we got a whole bunch of eggs. Look at there. So you really need to collect eggs every day. It looks like we missed yesterday, but we got 3, 4, 5, 6 eggs there. They're laying right now. This is probably the peak of their laying times. And we're getting 2 one day and 3 the next. So basically 5 eggs every 2 days, and 3 chickens. So that's pretty good. They lay an egg about once every 30 hours. So we're right on where we should be. Chickens are pretty easy. You just make sure they have water and food every day. So there they are. And I'll show you how I feed them. It's pretty easy. We got this is just chicken feed. Special protein diet for chickens that are laying. 16% protein, I think. So we just come in here, put it in the feed bucket, and kind of shake the feed bucket around. There it is, and then they got plenty of water, so they like their feed. Great thing about chickens is they eat food scraps. Whatever food scraps you have out, they'll eat. So we get fresh eggs every day, which is awesome. Now, the other thing that we can do with the chickens is, you can see all the chicken litter in there. We can use that as fertilizer for the garden. So we can either throw it in a compost pile and let it compost and create soil, or we can side dress all the plants that need fertilization with the manure right there. There's peach tree. Peach tree's getting some good peaches on it right there. You can see how much I trimmed it this year, but we'll have some peaches this year hopefully. And then last week, it was about this time last week, I caught a bee swarm. So I think I told you guys that my bees died this winter, or at least they moved on this winter. I had 3 hives. I lost all 3 of them. I think probably because it was just so wet and they ran out of food. So I had a friend call me, had a swarm of bees about 20 feet up in a tree. I cut off the branch, caught the swarm. They've been in here for about a week. I am feeding the bees. Feed them just a sugar syrup. It's inside the hive here. But you can see the bees coming in and out, and doing what they're supposed to do. Hopefully the queen's in there and she's laying. I gotta actually probably need to check the hive today or tomorrow to see if there's eggs and larvae in there, because hopefully I have a laying queen and she's going to increase the size of the colony, and I can start this brand new hive without having to buy bees. So the other thing that I didn't mention over here is irrigation. So I need to water the plants on a regular basis. So I just have an overhead sprinkler right here, but it's on a timer, and I've got that timer set to start irrigating at 6 o'clock in the morning every other day. And I do that because it's the morning time and there's a lot less evaporation that will go on if I do it in the morning, and it can have that water for use all day long. And I do it every couple of days for about 30 minutes, and I can just press a button on here to stop the irrigation whenever it rains, so I don't have to double irrigate, flood the plants. But I've got this thing set up to shoot to cover both my raised beds and the okra plot. So and then over here You see how I've kind of rigged it up. But over here, this is a sprinkler on a motion sensor. So if I turn it all the way up, hopefully it'll kick off here in a second. Well, I say it will. There it goes. All right, so if that thing detects any kind of motion in the garden, it's gonna go off like that and scare that thing away. So I always have a lot of problem with deer coming and eating things. This seems to be a great method of scaring away the deer. As long as the sensor can pick up the motion, it does that and scares the deer away. I'm not having that problem at the current moment, so I kind of turn it off now. But one method of pest control without having to hurt the deer. You just got to remember to turn that thing off when you come down here to pick your garden, because if not, you'll think somebody's shooting at you. But that's my little agricultural operation. You can kind of see it in my background. The good thing about the quarantine is I have all the time in the world to mess with it and make it what I want to make it. So just a few minor things that we talk about that I do. One thing that I can show you up here is how I've started some seeds. So I've started all these seeds. Each little container contains some seeds of different things, some herbs, some cucumbers, squash, things like that. So that's how I've been spending my quarantine time. Maybe I challenge you to spend yours in a way that's going to help the environment as well. Okay? See you guys later.